Welcome back. In this explainer, we're diving straight into a completely counterintuitive biological truth about your own body fat. We're going to uncover a hidden mechanism that's literally operating inside you every single night, entirely in the dark. And let me tell you, understanding this has the power to absolutely rewrite your metabolic health.
Let's start by busting a huge misconception. For decades, we've basically been taught that our fat cells are just passive storage containers, like biological Tupperware. But actually, scratch that. They aren't just sitting there. They're highly active endocrine organs. They actively produce hormones. And it turns out one of those specific hormones is the absolute key to unlocking overnight fat burning.
Meet your body's new best friend, adiponectin. Now, this isn't some fancy supplement you buy online. This is a powerful, fat-burning, insulin-sensitizing hormone that is produced exclusively by your own fat tissue. When your levels are high, it acts like a potent signaling tool for your cardiovascular and metabolic systems. It's basically telling your body, hey, mobilize that stored fat. It improves how efficiently you use insulin, and it actively protects you from the inflammation that excess fat usually generates. But here is the crazy part. It's primarily released while you're sound asleep.
But here is the ultimate biological paradox. Naturally, you'd probably think, hey, if I have more fat cells, I must produce more of this fat-burning hormone, right? Nope. The exact opposite is true. The more excess body fat you carry, especially that deep, inflammatory visceral fat around your belly, the less adiponectin your tissue actually makes. It's wild. The very tissue responsible for making this fat-burning hormone essentially shuts down production when it expands too far.
Section 1. How adiponectin burns fat. So how exactly does this hormone work inside your cells to give you these metabolic superpowers? Let's take a look.
The first major effect is pure, unadulterated fat oxidation. When adiponectin binds to its specific receptors, those are adipore R1 and adipore R2 in your liver and muscles, it activates an enzyme called AMPK. You can think of AMPK as your body's master metabolic switch. When adiponectin flips this switch on, it sends a direct message to your mitochondria, the little power plants in your cells, telling them to stop burning glucose and to prioritize burning fat for fuel instead. This is the core fat-burning mechanism, and adiponectin is literally the finger flipping the switch.
And it gets better. High adiponectin acts as a dual-threat metabolic stabilizer. First, it completely sensitizes you to insulin. That means your body needs way less of it to clear sugar from your bloodstream, shuttling that energy directly into your muscles instead of storing it as fat. At the exact same time, it actively suppresses a master inflammatory molecule known as NF-kappa B, which is normally triggered by having excess visceral fat. So it's out there actively fighting the root inflammation linked to metabolic syndrome.
If you want undeniable proof of how powerful this stuff really is, listen to this study. Researchers at the University of Tokyo published findings in the Journal of Clinical Investigation showing that simply restoring adiponectin levels in obese mice completely normalized their insulin resistance. It actually reversed their metabolic syndrome markers. And here's the kicker, you guys. They did this without changing the mice's diet or exercise routines at all. The hormone itself is the ultimate intervention.
Section 2. The 4 nightly saboteurs. Because tonight, when you sit down to eat, you might unknowingly be shutting down this incredible system, even if you're already perfectly lean. Let's look at what's killing this hormone. Saboteur number 1, evening fructose. Whenever you consume added sugar at night, your liver processes it through a mechanism that converts that sugar straight into fat. And this process actively competes with your adiponectin signaling pathway. So you know that late-night bowl of ice cream, that sweet dessert, or even just a glass of fruit juice right before bed? That actively kills your fat-burning signal right at the exact hour it's supposed to be ramping up. 19%. That is the massive drop you'll see in your adiponectin levels the very next morning if you restrict your sleep to just 4 hours. You see, adiponectin secretion is tightly coupled to your slow-wave deep sleep. So when you toss and turn, fragment your sleep, or just plain don't get enough of it, you're directly reducing the output of this crucial hormone right from your fat tissue. Then we have saboteurs 3 and 4. And man, these two will trap you in a vicious metabolic spiral. When you eat carb-only dinners, you trigger blood sugar crashes that cause massive spikes of the stress hormone cortisol right around 2 a.m. These glucocorticoids actively suppress the gene expression of adiponectin. Combine that with the physical expansion of visceral fat, which, remember, produces less and less adiponectin as it grows, and you suddenly find yourself locked in a self-reinforcing cycle of rising insulin resistance and plummeting fat oxidation. Section 3. Your overnight action plan. Okay, enough about the problem. Let's flip the script. I want to empower you with the practical levers you can literally pull tonight to raise your adiponectin.
The research firmly points to a magic number: 12. Adiponectin levels rise while you fast. So a 12-hour overnight fast, something simple like finishing your dinner at 7 p.m. and not eating again until breakfast at 7 a.m., is the absolute minimum threshold required for your fat cells to run their natural secretion cycle completely uninterrupted. Seriously, every single time you grab a snack at 10 p.m., you're breaking that cycle.
The next magic number is 13. By simply adding omega-3 fatty acids to your dinner, think a beautiful piece of salmon or a serving of sardines, you can increase your circulating adiponectin levels by an average of 13%. The science on this is just amazing. These omega-3s directly upregulate the adiponectin gene expression right in your fat tissue. No fancy supplements needed here, folks, just a few smart dinner choices. As you can see, every single saboteur we've talked about has a direct, actionable antidote that is entirely in your control. You counter evening fructose by sticking to that 12-hour fasting window. You combat sleep deprivation by really optimizing for deep, slow-wave sleep. You manage that elevated nighttime cortisol by getting your omega-3s in at dinner. And you actually reverse visceral fat expansion by running this whole compounding nocturnal system night after night. Section 4. The complete biological system. Let's zoom out and see how this all builds into a complete 6-part nocturnal system that's operating invisibly while you rest. This right here is the ultimate blueprint. Metabolically healthy people are out there unknowingly pulling all 6 of these levers every single night. Number 1, eating protein at dinner to fuel growth hormone and repair. Number 2, pairing carbs with that protein to flatten glucose and stop that 2 a.m. cortisol spike. 3, getting 7+ hours of sleep to perfectly balance your hunger hormones, leptin and ghrelin. 4, holding off on breakfast for just 30 minutes to protect your morning fat-burning window. 5, adding prebiotic fiber to feed your microbiome and lower gut inflammation. And finally, number 6, that 12-hour fast combined with omega-3s to completely unlock your overnight adiponectin. It's just one beautifully integrated system. Bringing it all together, what this really means is that tonight, you aren't just eating a meal. You are sending a precise biological instruction to a system that's waiting for the exact right conditions. You're setting the stage for the next 8 hours of metabolic activity. Honestly, your body has probably been waiting for these optimal conditions your entire life. Give it those conditions consistently and just watch how your health transforms. So I want to leave you with a question to ponder as you plan your evening routine tonight. Are you setting the right hormonal conditions? Are your dinner choices going to actively suppress your most powerful fat-burning hormone? Or are you going to finally let your fat cells do the incredible restorative work they were actually designed to do? The control is entirely in your hands. And because the learning never stops, I'm thrilled to tease our next explainer. We're going to be exploring a completely free, highly surprising trick involving the specific body temperature window you need to hit during deep sleep to absolutely maximize this fat oxidation. Trust me, you are not going to want to miss it, so make sure you're subscribed to catch it. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next explainer.